do. I won't do what you tell me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Simpleton Reviews. We have the gang here today talking about the Rare Americans. Nate, you want to take it over?
Yes, I will. Rare Americans. Rare Americans are the type of people that are actually nice. No. So Rare Americans, which is funny that they call themselves I guess they're North Americans. Please. But Rare Americans is a Canadian Slavic alternative rock band from Vancouver, British Columbia. That's in Canada, by the way. A. All right. Most noted as Juno Award nominees. Who even knows what a Juno Award is?
Those guys that live in Juneau in Alaska.
Yeah, for Breakthrough Group of the Year at the Juno Awards of 2023. I thought they've been around longer than 2023, though.
They have
No,
for
that's
a
when
while.
they won the award.
Yeah.
They were created by brothers James and Jared Priestner. Includes guitarist Jan Kachka, must be the Slavic, and drummer Duran Ritz.
Duran?
Also Slavic.
In May 2023, it was announced that guitarist Lubo Ivan had made the decision to leave the band. Loser. They are known for creating animated videos for most of their songs, and I must admit, I've never heard of this band before until now, so I've not seen any of their animated videos, but that sounds cool. I'd like to see some.
They're pretty neat.
Okay, this was a choice of Trista. So we're going to turn it over to Trista, and she's going to tell us her thoughts about... Oh, by the way, we're reviewing Rare Americans 2. And she's going to tell us about that album right now.
That's kind of the cool thing about Rare Americans. I don't know it full-fledged because I'm kind of a terrible music reviewer. But
yes.
They have 2 albums, Rare American, Rare American 2, and from what I can get, they're kind of connected story-wise. The songs obviously kind of adhere to a story element with them, and both the albums...
They're concept albums.
Yeah, they connect to each other, which is kind of neat. I don't pay enough attention to a lot of music stuff to pick up on that half the time, but Rare Americans 2 continues into it as far as I can understand. I really love this band. This is actually a really good excuse for me to remember to listen to this album because I am terrible at listening to albums altogether. I love it. I think it's just fun. It's, kind of upbeat for the most part. You have obviously the Brittle Bones Nikki song, and you have Brittle Bones, Nikki 2? Those 2 songs are like obviously the staple songs, and then I like Hullabaloo a lot. I think it's just fun. I'm a terrible music reviewer. I don't really know any great words to use. It's a rock album, right?
They're sonically pleasing,
something
like that. I use words like that, or they hit you right where it counts, and the lyrics in this album were fantastic. No, I don't know. I'm just kidding. According to the Wikipedia, it looks like they have a few albums out, and I don't know how long these albums are. They do say they're LPs. So they're Rare Americans, Rare Americans 2, Jamesy Boy and the Screw Loose Zoo, deluxe version of that, You're Not a Bad Person, It's Just a Bad World, and Searching for Strawberries, the story of Jongo Bongo.
That one's a good one, actually.
Yeah. So... those are the albums that, and that one was released actually just this past July. So here, normally this would be the place where we would hand it over to Lemuel so he could tell us his take on the album, but he's a loser and he's not here. So, Charlie, it's your turn.
Yeah, I thought this was kind of a fun album. I don't get the lifestyle because, again, it's kind of like NF where there's a lot of story in life where they're disgruntled and dissatisfied with everything they've been with. And so they've chosen this happy sound to exploit it and poke fun at it and just make you feel good of misery.
Yeah.
So
with happy music though.
It's kind of like when Green Day started. You could tell that they started off. Their idea was that we're miserable. And
Imagine Dragons is kind of the same way, right? Though too.
Imagine Dragons. Yeah. There's a lot of them that are that way where they're. I mean, it's not quite like Rage Against the Machine where everything was very hard.
Phew! I won't do what you tell me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so political. Yeah.
It's obviously a very modern album, and you can definitely get the modernness from it compared to other things. Like you said, Green Day. But I do see the comparison, yeah.
Yeah, so more of it sounded more like Oliver Tree, if you're familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of more of that sound. It's definitely almost a California sound.
Yeah.
So, but that's what the kids are looking for. So
Yeah.
That's what we like.
You know, this reminded me a lot of the Viagra Boys album.
Oh,
that
yeah.
we
Oh, really?
reviewed. A lot of kind of that same kind of sound. It's got almost a ska tinge to it,
Mhm.
just a little bit. The horns aren't necessarily there, but it has that almost that reggae type of a beat to it. So there almost feels like a Scottish sound. I liked it. Kind of hit me and right in the, like, you know, hey, this is good music. I could dig to it. It was one of those like, yeah, this is one of those albums that I could just groove along to and you know, stick in and go, I'm cool with this, you know. I know, like you said, though, it's one of those bands or one of those albums where you're like, I'm really grooving the music, yeah, and then you listen to the lyrics, okay, I want to go shoot myself now.
Life
You know, it's kind of those
sucks.
things. Yeah, it's like, wow, the music does not fit the lyrics, but
Isn't
but
that
that's
what they
probably
consider? Is that what they consider the Midwest emo? Is that what that is all about?
yeah, maybe, yeah. I've never actually heard that term, but perhaps.
It's a newer thing. I don't know
Is
it either,
okay.
really.
All right. Yeah, they subdivide music so much it's hard to keep track of all of the titles. But I enjoyed it. I actually liked the music. I did actually like some of the lyrics. I thought they were pretty good. Yeah, I really like this album. I thought it was well worth listening. So let's go ahead and give our scores. Charlie, let's start off with you.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
3.5.
So,
right
yeah.
on, right on.
Which is it's right on par with what I do. It's one that again, most albums I don't like all the way through, and so this one had a high number of like songs. It's like if I picked it out, if I heard it picked out of a list, I wouldn't have turned it off. So
Hey,
it was
certifiable,
good
right?
fun.
3.5
Yep,
is
it's
certifiable. That's right. All right, Trista, what about you?
I'm bringing back a 4 for this one as well. Yeah, this is definitely something that I listen to regularly. I like the album a lot. I think the band just has a lot of fun too. I've seen their music videos and they are just really, it's kind of a weird thing if you're not used to seeing stuff like that, but it's fun. The music's fun. It's just very easy and enjoyable to listen to in a weird way.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Trista's score. I'm gonna give it a 4 as well. I think it's fun, and I could probably listen to this more than once, which is more than I can say for most albums we on this podcast here. So yeah, I hope to see Rare Americans around more. I currently have a subscription to Sirius XM. Listen to the Alt Nation like pretty much constantly on there. I don't think I've ever heard these guys played on any of those stations that are in that genre-ish area around there in Sirius, which is shocking to me because it sounds like something they would play quite easily. The one thing that maybe is the reason is because they're Canadian. That's about the only thing. But there's also Canadian radio stations, and I bet you they get played on there because the funny thing about Canadian radio stations is that it's a little different than American radio stations where the free market basically controls what songs they play. Well, actually, it's really more the record companies that control what songs they play. In Canada, you have to play music. Like, if they're on a record label that's like a Canadian record label, like the government says you have to play that music, like at least one song from the album. So they have different rules in Canada on what they can play on the radio. It's kind of interesting, but I don't totally understand it. So please don't quote me on that. I just know that they have different rules in Canada on the radio stuff. So. Well, that's about it. Again, we defer to Lemuel to see what his score is. But since he's not here, we got 3 scores, 2 4s and a 3.5, which makes this album Simpleton. Certified. Heck yeah. Keep it up, Rare Americans. You are rare indeed. Thanks for joining us here. If you have listened to Rare Americans, please let us know in the comments if you've never heard of them and you decided to listen to them because of this video. Let us know as well. If you are the Rare Americans, please tell us how we did. If you hated our review, then I don't really care.
Tell us that too.
You guys, yeah. All right, love you all for watching. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great week. Bye-bye.